Hi guys, this is Legoyoshi and welcome to a brand new set which continues on with the Ironman free theme. Now this is the second set and the final set that I have. There are free sets but unfortunately I don't own the £20 set, but anyway. This one is Ironman Malibu Mansion Attack, which is one of the biggest scenes in the film. One of the most important scenes in the film anyway. Quite a decent sized set, this one. I do have to admit this is probably my favourite out of all the Ironman free sets. Because it does actually happen in the film, unlike the last set. But anyway, this set comes in two parts, so let's start with the main part. Let's start with the actual mansion. Okay, so here we have the mansion. Like I said, it's not massive for a mansion, but for what it is, it depicts the main scene for the film, so which is perfectly fine with me. Let's start off in this first little section. As you can see, we do have some printing on the windows, which I do believe it's security for when the helicopter is attacking. As you can, I know it's back. In fact, just turn this around a second. I don't know how well we can see it, but it does say alert on here, as if something is actually about to attack. So that's what I believe that is for. Anyway, back on to what we will do. We do have this nice little platform here which does turn 360 degrees, and it does have a couple little computer screens for Tony Stark to have a look at for the Ironman set, which is supposed to go over here. You can stand on here and, like I said, it just keeps him on a lookout and he can start moving around to look at certain parts. We do have like a little tool bench over here which has a little spanner and a little hammer and two nice little things. Like I said, I've never actually seen Tony Stark ever use these things, but it's usually more technological stuff. But anyway, so let's move over onto the second half of it. First off, you can see on the windows there are different Iron Man bits. I think these are supposed to be like computer screens as well, even though they're more like windows. And it does go over, like say, any damage that is done to the Iron Man machine, or certain bits that need to be fixed, or just like little bits of statistics on different parts of the Iron Man robot, the costumes, should I say, not robot. And the only other thing we have over here is a little tiny coffee machine with a little, I don't know what the orange bits are supposed to be for in there. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. Don't think there's anything that says on the internet that I've got. Oh, hang on. We've got bright green cupboards, which we have right here. A clear cup with a brick-built blender filled with an orange studs to represent blended Mandarin oranges. So it's pretty much like an orange juice machine then, altogether. And like I said, we do have two little cupboards here. And I don't know why you can see it on the camera, it's not very well, but where my thumb is right now, that is a little tiny transparent cup for you to put your orange juice in. So that's a quick look over the mansion. There is one more feature which I will quickly show you. There's this little thing here, which I couldn't remember what it was for when I got this set out to do the video. Having a little mess around with it, and it actually just does this. It just knocks the window out of place. So, as if it's just been attacked. I have just noticed there's a bit of a Lego brick that's out of place here, which is not very good. But I'll leave that for now, I don't want to destroy it. So there we go. Now, onto the helicopter. Next we have Mandarin's helicopter, which is mostly built in dark green and black and yellow. Comes with a, I don't know why, but it always seems like on most helicopters now they do 2 rotor blades and not 4, which I suppose it makes it a bit easy to build, but I don't know, I prefer the 4 ones if I can, if they do them, but oh well, never mind. There is a cockpit just at the front here, which I did actually have a minifigure in there early, so you wouldn't have been able to see him, but I will show that off when we actually get around to doing the minifigures. There are also 2 little bits at the sides, there's one here and one here, which I always have the Mandarin sat on or stood on, so you can see what's happening during the attack. There are 2 sets of little rockets as well, you can see 2 on each side. Don't know why I pointed to that one first, but oh well. And there is this little symbol on the top, which apparently is the 10 rings insignia on the top, which I've actually not heard of that one, so that's something different for me. That's about it really. It does come with, like I said, a little rotor blade at the back. But yeah, that's pretty much it on this one. There's not really much to say about the helicopter. It's a nice helicopter, but there's just not much to say that I've not already said about helicopters. Now, before we go into minifigures, there is this one little thing that it usually is hanging around the mansion. It's a little robot known as Dumb E. Yeah, it is called Dummy. It is called that in the films, which is it is quite amusing because you just have Tony Stark moaning about it all the time, saying, "Don't you dare do that, dummy! Are you going to do anything, dummy?" Well, just stuff like that. He does come with this little case, which actually has one of Iron Man's suits in it. You do see it activate on some of the films. He also, on around this side, he comes with a little fire extinguisher, because I think there was a running joke on the first Iron Man film where he ends not really set on fire, but he does go and massive crash, and Dummy comes over, and he literally just looks at him and goes, "Oh, if you dare point that at me, I can't remember exactly what he says, but he says, if you dare point and spray me with that, I'll disassemble you and turn you into a coffee machine," or something along those lines. But and also it does have good joints, so you can move it about a bit, but it doesn't move down this section, I don't think. Oh, here we go. It does move down this one, but it does more just go backwards. It doesn't really go forwards, and that does go quite round, and you can swing the thing around. So, there we go. That is Dummy. And so we move on to the minifigures. First up is the Mandarin figure, which we've already been through this one. This is why I'm showing him off first. He's not any different apart from this is the robed version. The other one just didn't have a cape on him. So, and he does have these. I don't think he has anything different for the style of clothing or anything like that. It does continue on down a little bit as more robes, but anyway. There was not much else to talk about on this figure. He does have the same facial expressions with the show one of them to angry with a smirk, and the other one is just the stern face that he had on the other one, which is the one I kept at the back. So, but yeah, not much to say about this figure apart from because it's pretty much the same one. The next one is the Iron Man Mark 42 armor. It's one that I think it was a different marked armor on the last video, but it is, like I said, the Iron Man figure. But this one, because obviously Tony Stark is working with it, and you do get Tony Stark as a figure, which I'm going through later on. This one actually just has a white head underneath it. So, because Lego wouldn't be able, it would be just empty in the films, but because Lego don't have a way of actually making a way to actually just put his head on, they've just included a blank white Lego head underneath just to keep it on, so you can keep the mask down to cover it up. It does come with little lasers, and it does have a little bit of different armour, but apart from it does have a white thing in the middle because it doesn't have obviously doesn't have the heart that Iron Man has at the minute, so it's just white. But yeah, there's not really much to say about this one. But I do like the design of this one, and of course the design goes onto the back as well. The next figure is the Extremis Soldier. Now, I don't really have a huge amount to say about this. He has black bottoms. He has a grey top with a six-pack printed on the front of it, and a little tiny zip on the front. On the back, it just shows off more of the muscles for it. The one thing I do like is the colouring of the head. Now, it may look white on that, but it is a very, very light blue. Imagine like a Voldemort style colour. And it is actually quite nice. And it does actually have a second head. This one is a stern, concentrating face. And then there's this one. Good God, this is quite creepy. It looks a bit like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's more of a... He's been exposed to the extra... I don't know exactly what it is. I have not watched the film in a while. He basically just has the power in him that will make him explode when the Mandarin wants him to. But yeah, I'm actually glad I didn't keep that face, because like I say, it's actually very, very creepy. So I'll keep that to underneath there for now. There you go, you look a lot better now. Thank you, I don't like that. And the next figure is the star of the show, it's Tony Stark. Now, I do like this Tony Stark figure. I've always wanted a Tony Stark figure, because like I say, you always get it just as Iron Man, never Tony Stark, so you always get like, the only bit of Tony Stark you actually get is just the head. So it's nice to actually have a Tony Stark figure. It comes obviously with the hat that I mentioned earlier with the armour, so that's why that's blue there. Just a typical black top for him, which he always wears around the house. Around the mansion, should I say. Around the house, he's not that cheap. Anyway, it does have a nice printed six-pack on the front. Black trousers as usual, and it just continues onto the back. Nothing much on this, on the back of it anyway. But there is a second face. On this one, we have the happy face who looks like he is doing some work on his Iron Man armour. And the second face, if I just take the hair off for a second, is more of a scared face when he is being attacked, as if he is scared what's going to happen, especially to a certain Pepper Potts, who is coming up next. So yeah, I do actually like that face, because it's not often you'll see Iron Man like that, or Tony Stark, should I say. So it's nice to get that face feature, because obviously he does not want to see any harm done to Pepper Potts or himself. Oh, there we go. And the last minifigure we have is Pepper Potts. I don't believe she's actually appeared in any other sets, so I believe she's exclusive to this one. I'll have a look in the notes section down below in a bit, and go over that when we go on to the final bit of the video. Anyway, she comes in a white outfit, like a scientist style outfit. I don't know if you call it overalls or what, I'm not 100% sure. But, and she comes with a nice ginger ponytailed hair, which is quite nice. Maybe a little bit too long, because it's nearly all the way down to her legs, but oh well. And also, she does come with two faces. The first one is the smiling face, which I usually have on, because she is happy around the workplace, and while Tony Stark is doing work on Iron Man. And the other one, like the Tony Stark face, is more of a scared face, or concerned face, when they are being attacked. Like I said, I would have expected more of a scared face and just more concerned, but it's still a nice figure. There is some real nice figures in this set, I really do like them a lot. So, there we go, that's Pepper Potts. So there we go then, guys, that is the Malibu Mansion Attack set. Just to go over the background for the film. After Happy Hogan was severely injured in one of the Mandarin attacks, Tony Stark issued a verbal challenge to the Mandarin, asking that if he was a man, come to his house and prove it. Savin led the attack on Tony Malibu Mansion with military helicopters disguised as news helicopters. His first instinct was to armour up Pepper Potts in the Mark 42 armour, and ordered her to get herself and Mayor Henson out of the crumbling house. Once Pepper and Mayor were safely outside, he called the armour back to him, and he tried to stop the helicopters from causing further destruction as Iron Man, deprived of flight capabilities and weapon systems because it was a prototype, but failed and was dragged undersea by the fallen debris and was crushed. Tony ordered Jarvis to get him back to the surface as he passed out, but when he woke up in Tennessee with his suit severely damaged, Jarvis shut down, preventing Tony from contacting anyone. Oh, there we go. There are a couple of notes for this set as well. If you actually look at the box for this set, it does show Pepper Potts actually in the Iron Man armour, but I like to keep it like this because I think it's quite nice to keep all the figures separate if you can. Tony Stark's Pepper Potts, the Extremist Soldier, this Mandarin variation, dummy, and the Mark 42 with a plain face, every single figure in this set is exclusive. So that is one really, really nice thing, and like I said, I have not seen Pepper Potts in any other sets I can remember off the top of my head. Also, one thing that is a little bit of a, not blooper of sorts, but The Mandarin does not actually appear in this scene in the film. As it says on here, the Mandarin is not in the scene this set depicts, as he is portrayed to be a behind-the-scenes type of villain. So, there we go. Anyway, on to the little bits of information I always go through with these sets. Overall, this set has 364 pieces, and it also costs $34.99, so it actually does work out quite well with my pounds to pieces thing, and a lot of people liking that. It's also been released on March the 7th, 2013. So there we go then, guys. Let me know what you think of this set. I'd always like to hear what people on their opinions of this set and stuff like that. So if you do, message me on Twitter, Instagram, put a comment underneath on YouTube, like, subscribe, anything. I will always be more than happy to get back in touch with you guys, as I always like to do. So anyway, thank you very much as always, guys, and I shall see you guys for my next video. See you later, guys. And don't forget, you can now follow me on Twitter on Legoyoshi 2.